Lin Hua's cheating was discovered by Wu Yan herself. About half a year ago, Wu Yan discovered that Lin Hua suddenly became dull in bed. Although he was not very enthusiastic before, it was considered normal. In about 10 days, he would be in a stable state. But at that time, suddenly for half a month, and then not once for a longer period of time, Wu Yan felt that something was wrong with Lin Hua. In order to confirm her inference, she took the initiative to hint and express it several times within a month, but Lin Hua actually made excuses to refuse. Later, she finally had it reluctantly once, but Lin Hua was distracted throughout the whole process. His eyes were wandering, the kind of wandering that is preoccupied. From Lin Hua's eyes, Wu Yan came to the conclusion that he had cheated on her. It was determined that his indifference to his own body was just because he was confused and hollowed out by another body. It was so hard to finally get this beginning, the process was so perfunctory, and the ending was so sloppy. It was so sloppy that it made Wu Yanhua heartbroken. There can be no other reasons. After being married for 10 years, Wu Yan still has this sensitivity. Then without too much effort, Wu Yan took the opportunity to peek at Lin Hua's phone several times, and finally found an ambiguous conversation between him and a woman named Lan Xiaotu among the messages that he had not had time to delete, which was just a few sentences. Lin Hua said, "I am exhausted." Blue Rabbit said, "Die under peonies." Wu Yan almost went crazy. No matter how dignified a man looks, he still has the same animalistic and hooligan nature, and Lin Hua is no exception. Then through the moments posted by Lan Xiaotu, Wu Yan confirmed that Lan Xiaotu was none other than Lin Hua's colleague Xiao Lin. Damn, it turned out to be the most unbearable office romance. The only thing that is not so direct is that Lin Hua is in the personnel department and Xiao Lin is in the office. They are not the same department, but it is disgusting enough. Wu Yan thought that Xiao Lin was just as she expected, a vixen, and now, she was seducing her man. Wu Yan and Xiao Lin couldn't be called familiar with each other. They had met a few times. A small county town was not as big as a big place. It was completely normal for the husband and wife's colleagues to know each other. They might have bumped into each other while having a meal or shopping. The first time Wu Yan met Xiao Lin was when a family of 3 was having hot pot on a weekend. By chance, Xiao Lin and her husband also entered the same restaurant. In the end, the 2 families had a meal together. Later, Wu Yan met Xiao Lin twice in the beauty shop. After the second time of skin care, Xiao Lin gave Wu Yan a lipstick, saying that it was brought back by a classmate from abroad and the texture was good. Wu Yan's impression of Xiao Lin was very direct. She was young and beautiful, a little scheming, but with a hint of coquettishness. Charlene is not very tall, has an oval face, slightly raised eyebrows, and a natural actor's eyebrows. At that time, Wu Yan said this to Lin Hua, and Lin Hua glared at her because she thought she was gossip. Wu Yan retorted that she was praising her beauty. Lin Hua snorted, "You women." Looking back now, Lin Hua and Xiao Lin should have been fine at that time. At that time, Lin Hua's behavior was normal. Wu Yan was a little confused. Why did they suddenly hook up? Unable to swallow her breath, Wu Yan asked around a lot and quickly got a rough idea of the details of the adulterous couple. It must have been 8 months ago that Xiao Lin's husband was sent to Beijing by the company to study for a year. The romantic young woman who had been married for less than 3 years fell into a gap period. So, unwilling to be lonely, she hooked up with Lin Hua. Wu Yan analyzed it and found that the reason why Xiao Lin chose Lin Hua was probably that among many colleagues, Lin Hua was good-looking, a bit of a low-status person, and had a stable marriage. Even if they hooked up, they would not stalk her, and it would be easy to escape in the future. Moreover, their tryst place was not a hotel, but Charlene's home. Wu Yan followed them and took an intimate photo of Xiao Lin and Lin Hua from the corridor of the opposite building with a specially borrowed professional camera. In sight, Xiao Lin was almost naked, wrapped around Lin Hua like a snake. At that time, Wu Yan just wanted to pick up a kitchen knife and chop this slut into pieces, but she still restrained herself and pressed the shutter. Wu Yan finally knew why Lin Hua cheated. She and he had been married for so many years, and they had never had such fun together. What Lin Hua got from Xiao Lin, Wu Yan couldn't give. When Lin Hua came back that day, Wu Yan did not immediately fall out, because behind the thought of chopping up Xiao Lin, she instinctively found out the truth. The person she wanted to chop was Xiao Lin, not Lin Hua. It was this little bit of truth that made Wu Yan know that she didn't want a divorce at all. A middle-aged marriage is not something that can be broken so easily. Needless to say, think about the children, family members, and social relationships. The two people have been tied together quietly. If you want to cut them off with a knife, both sides will lose. What's more, Wu Yan really likes Lin Hua. At that time, Lin Hua had just returned from the army and was assigned to work in the Animal Husbandry Bureau. He was 29 years old and planned to start a family. Wu Yan was 25 years old at the time, with average appearance and an even more average job, working as an administrator in a kindergarten. After falling in love twice without success, a classmate's cousin introduced them to each other, and Wu Yan fell in love with Lin Hua at a glance. Lin Hua still has the disciplined temperament of a soldier. Whether standing or sitting, he has a straight back, thick eyebrows, and big eyes. He has an excellent figure, doesn't talk much, and is a bit reserved. But after that meeting, Lin Hua did not take the initiative to contact her. Obviously, he was not too satisfied. Wu Yan was a little disappointed. After waiting for a while, she still couldn't let go and decided to take the initiative. It is indeed much easier for a woman to chase a man. Wu Yan not only took the initiative to contact Lin Hua, but also took the initiative to get to know Lin Hua's mother. She often bought things and ran to his house. Wu Yan basically took down Lin Hua's mother first, and then took down Lin Hua. Later, on her birthday, Wu Yan invited Lin Hua to have dinner at home. With 2 glasses of red wine, Wu Yan plucked up the courage to hook Lin Hua into bed that night. Even after so many years, even though Lin Hua never mentioned it, Wu Yan still remembered the situation at that time, remembering Lin Hua's rejection of her at first, and then she hugged him tightly and refused to let go, stood up on tiptoes and kissed him. Finally, Lin Hua's body reacted and gave up resisting. Therefore, Wu Yan knew very well that he was not very enthusiastic about her at first, but later he became interested in her for a long time. Lin Hua was considered a good man, and he was conscientious in his marriage. He handed in his salary card, had no affairs, and did not look for trouble. In his free time, he would accompany Wu Yan to go shopping, watch movies, and occasionally travel nearby. They were an ordinary and determined couple. Wu Yan felt that in this life, as long as Lin Hua wanted her, she would never be separated from him. What's more, Lin Hua's future is becoming increasingly clear now. She, Wu Yan, is still the administrator of the kindergarten. In addition to getting older, she has become lower in front of Lin Hua. So low, the evidence of his cheating was conclusive, but she didn't even have the courage to show any unusual courage in front of him. However, Wu Yan knew one thing very well. She could be as low as the dust to Lin Hua, but she could not tolerate his adultery or the vixen who seduced her man. After viewing Lin Hua and Xiao Lin's adultery photos 10,000 times, Wu Yan felt that she had to take action. Wu Yan also investigated and found out that Xiao Lin's husband was not a local, but he came from a good family and was young and promising. She still cared about her husband. Charlene is just a coquettish person and can't live without a man for a long time, but she will never ruin her marriage just because of this. Therefore, Charlene is careful when cheating. She doesn't open a room outside, but takes Lin Hua home. Every time they meet, she always behaves. There was a gap of half an hour before and after. So Wu Yan thought that she could go to Xiao Lin with the evidence and warn her not to hook up with Lin Hua again in the future. But at the last moment, Wu Yan still hesitated. No matter how much she hated Xiao Lin, she was a person who had read books, had some ink and knowledge. She knew that even if she wanted to take care of cheating, she had to take care of her own man first. The man signed the contract with her. Those who break the marriage contract are betrayers in the strict sense. The role of Charlene can be played by anyone. If a fly doesn't bite a perfect egg, the root of it is that the egg smells bad. As a wife, she doesn't dare to say a word to her man, but she rushes to chase the mistress. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Before Wu Yan could figure things out, something happened on Lin Hua's side. To be precise, something happened to the deputy director in charge of personnel of the Animal Husbandry Bureau. Lin Hua suddenly encountered an opportunity for promotion. Lin Hua said that the top leader gave him a hint and asked him to work hard. The attitude of the organization department this time is also the same. Promote within the unit as much as possible and not transfer from outside. This surprised Lin Hua. He has been working as a small section chief for 6 years. However, Lin Hua also knew that he was not the only one who was thinking about this opportunity. Office Director Han Ming was also instigating this matter. In terms of workability and performance, Lin Hua really looked down on Han Ming, but in terms of being cunning and scheming, he thought he was far behind Han Ming. Also, Han Ming's brother-in-law worked in a certain department of the county party committee and had a background. Lin Hua was lacking in this area, so he was worried and told Wu Yan that he didn't know if his joy would be in vain again. Because of the sudden occurrence of this incident, Wu Yan temporarily gave up the idea of going to Xiao Lin. She knew that even if she didn't take action now, Lin Hua and Xiao Lin's adultery would be temporarily stopped. Of course Lin Hua would not be that confused. How could he be greedy for physical desires at such a critical moment? Then looking at Lin Hua's helpless appearance, Wu Yan felt a little at a loss. As a wife, there was really nothing she could do to help him. The superficial tricks she could think of, such as treating her to meals and giving gifts, would not work now. Simply don't mention it. After eating the meal dully for a while, Lin Hua sighed and said, it would be great if Han Ming made some mistakes at this time. After saying that, he laughed self-deprecatingly and said, how could he make a mistake at a time like this? It depends on luck. Wu Yan didn't say anything. Lin Hua was in a bad mood. She was afraid that she would make too many mistakes if she said too much. As a result, Lin Hua fell asleep early that night, but Wu Yan lost sleep and woke up twice. When she woke up the second time, she saw Lin Hua's cell phone on the bedside table and took it out secretly. He actually saw a message from Xiaolin, but he didn't delete it. He didn't know whether he had forgotten it or was too lazy to delete it. Charlene said, "I'm sorry that I can't do anything for you about your promotion. Please forgive me for being selfish. Let's start with your mutual consent. Then let's get together and part ways. I wish you good luck." After Wu Yan's mind turned around several times, she understood the cause and effect of this matter. Lin Hua wanted to use Xiaolin to hinder Han Ming, but Xiaolin refused. The reason was very simple. Han Ming was the office director. If he was promoted, we'll make room for Charlene, the deputy director. That's right. Why didn't she expect that this Charlene's identity is very subtle and she can be used as a chess piece? No matter what, Wu Yan's thoughts became clear in an instant. The process is actually very simple, exactly as Wu Yan imagined. The next morning, Wu Yan took the initiative to call Xiaolin and said that she wanted to treat her to lunch. Charlene was a little surprised, but she still agreed. The guilty conscience in her bones made her feel that if she didn't agree, it would prove that there was something wrong in her heart. We made an appointment at the only authentic Western restaurant in the small county. When she saw Xiaolin, Wu Yan was still a little embarrassed. Xiaolin was 30 years old, but she was still so young, with smooth skin, a sexy figure, and a sense of foxiness. After talking about other things for a while, Wu Yan changed the subject and spoke frankly about Lin Hua. Xiaolin remained silent for a long time. Of course she knew this better than Wu Yan. Wu Yan said, "The main reason is that it is very difficult for us, Lao Lin. We have no background, no scheming, and it is useless to fight ourselves to death. I want to help him, but I am in a hurry and can't do anything." Xiaolin said, "Sister-in-law, don't say that. Lin Ke still has a chance. Besides, I can't help with this kind of thing. After all, we are not in the same department, not to mention I am a subordinate." Wu Yan said, "You are too humble. I think you can definitely help with this matter." Wu Yan's words were abrupt, but unambiguous. Every word was clear and clear. Charlene felt that her visitor was unkind and was startled. At this time, Wu Yan pushed her phone directly in front of Xiaolin, and it was the intimate photo of her and Lin Hua. Charlene's face turned red and purple, then purple and blue, her lips trembled, and she didn't utter a single word for a long time. Wu Yan smiled and asked, "Is your husband coming back soon?" As if her soul was gone, Charlene said a bit mechanically, "Well, there's still a month left, it's almost over." Wu Yan said, "When he comes back, you should have a child as soon as possible, and don't be too playful. It's a bit late after 30 years old. Besides, my husband is so handsome and capable, so it is only right to tie him up with a child as soon as possible." Charlene's soul seemed to have returned a little bit, and she kept saying, "That's right." After saying that, he stood up and paid the bill. 2 months later, Lin Hua received notification of the appointment of deputy director. During this period, Han Ming was reported that his mother received a 5,000 yuan shopping card for her birthday. Although she returned it, she was still given administrative sanctions. As Wu Yan expected, under her threat, Xiao Lin had no choice. It happened that Han Ming's mother was celebrating her birthday and a table was set up at home, so Charlene ran to present the shopping card. Han Ming didn't accept things from others easily, but after all, superiors and subordinates in the same office would inevitably have some secret affairs to take care of each other, and he felt that with Xiao Lin's identity, there was no way he would be tricked, so he made an exception. Then she was anonymously reported to the Discipline Inspection Commission by Xiao Lin. Charlene herself was punished, and there was no hope of promotion in the short term. But what can be done? It was a deal she had to make, even though she knew she was losing money. Afterwards, Wu Yan promised her that the matter between her and Lin Hua would be sealed in Wu Yan's mouth. Xiao Lin also promised that she would never have any dealings with Lin Hua again. They are convinced of each other's commitment. Xiao Lin knew that if Wu Yan sold her cheating, it would be equivalent to selling Lin Hua. Since Wu Yan still planned to live with Lin Hua, she would not make a fuss about this matter again. Wu Yan also understood that Xiao Lin did not love Lin Hua in the first place. They just had a secret relationship. Unexpectedly, they caused such a big trouble and paid such a heavy price. Xiao Lin had already avoided Lin Hua. As for whether Lin Hua knew the cause and effect of the whole incident, Wu Yan didn't know and didn't intend to ask. Anyway, Lin Hua was very happy in front of her and said, "I finally got over it, but Han Ming is still a little unjust. He is really not the kind of person who is greedy for petty gains." Wu Yan said, "I heard that Xiao Lin was also implicated. Isn't she quite unjust? I don't know who is playing tricks in the middle. Why should I report such a trivial matter? You should also be careful and don't let such people stare at you." On. Lin Hua was stunned and said, "How can I? I don't make mistakes. It's okay even if I stare. Flies don't stare at seamless eggs, right?" After saying this and laughing a few times, Wu Yan seemed to be smiling but not laughing, and repeated, "You also know that flies don't look at seamless eggs. It's good that you know." Then he said, "I guess God is helping you this time. I am very happy that you can go up. If you are well, my son and I will be well." Lin Hua was stunned again, then suddenly stretched out his hand and gave Wu Yan a rare hug. That hug was 99% pretentious and false, but Wu Yan still responded gently. Speaking of which, this can be regarded as a victory for Wu Yan. She not only drove away the mistress, but also saved her marriage. The relationship with her husband seems to be better than before. But in her heart, Wu Yan couldn't be happy, because she understood that the key to her victory was not how powerful she was, but that this society was inherently unfair to men and women. It's all cheating. If Charlene is found out by her husband, she will definitely be divorced, ruined, and beaten by everyone wherever she goes. And when Wu Yan found out about Lin Hua's cheating, she had to carefully endure it and try her best to protect him. It was precisely because of this unfairness that Charlene chose to swallow her anger and suffer a huge loss. She chose to exploit Charlene's weakness to grow the prestige of the man and her family, in order to gain the qualification to continue to be content in the marriage. She and her, who is more despicable, who is more shameless, who is more pitiable? Wu Yan doesn't know. Wu Yan doesn't know whether Lin Hua will cheat again in the future. She only knew that whether he knew it or not, She would do her best to maintain her status as the principal wife until one day, she could no longer do anything.